for your time this afternoon. The Akasa Air team is very excited to add Goa to our expanding network. We've already had a fabulous Goan welcome, and today we have two of our co-founders, Mr. Belson Coutinho, Chief Marketing and Experience Officer at Akasa Air, Mr. Praveen Iyer, Chief Commercial Officer at Akasa Air. They are here to speak with you about Akasa and our plans for Goa. I'm Vishnupriya Narayan. I head Corporate Communications and CSR at Akasa. I've got my colleague Devraja from Marketing and Nikita's team who are supporting us today. Over to you, Belson.
Thank you, Vishnupriya. Can you hear me on the other side? Okay, thank you.
Are you guys comfortable? You need chairs to
We
sit?
have chairs here. We have chairs.
Yeah. Some of them are standing.
Yeah, some of them
Yeah,
are
we have
standing.
chairs beside you.
No, it's fine. You can
Are
start.
you okay? All right, thank you. आमची फाल्यां first flight Akasa. We're very excited. हे आमचे पयलें press conference गोंयान. So thank you for making the time and coming. I appreciate this. I'll spend the next few minutes to, you would have heard a lot about Akasa by now, but I thought first flight, coming into the state of Goa for the first time, you should know a little bit more about ourselves. Praveen will talk about our network planning strategy, how we plan to build Goa as one of our important connections. I'll use the screen to show you some of our, so you can just use that. You can put on full screen. Thank you. Yeah, it's not functioning. Okay, it's fine. Thank you. So, just to take us a little bit back, step back, almost 24 months ago when we were thinking of putting Akasa Air together as an airline, we said let's start ourselves by defining not just the business fundamentals or the business model, but what is our purpose going to be? What are we in here for as Akasa as an organization? And that is where our higher promise came into being. And a higher promise has got no strings attached in terms of any matrix or any data, but simply to say how can we be a part and transform India's air transportation ecosystem and empower Indians to chase their dreams. I mean, it's a known fact that for any economy to grow and to get better, transportation links are the fundamental or the very stepping stone of any economy. And air transportation is one of them. And we believe in India, with just about 3 or 4% of Indians who actually fly, there's a huge potential for many, many years and decades to come. And we want to play a role in helping that transformation. Then we set out and said, what's the vision for Akasa Air as a company and as an organization? And that's simply to be the best, to be the most trusted airline. Our aspirations are bigger, so the vision is not just to be the most trusted airline in India, but across the world. And then we came down and said, what's the brand promise? Many of you would have questions on what is it that you bring to the table. And that's where our brand promise comes in, to be the most dependable and most affordable airline by running a youngest and greenest fleet in the Indian skies. And I think by now you would figure out anything to be dependable, anything to be somebody who can be trusted with, takes a lot of effort. And that's what we have put together at Akasa Air, right from our people, right from our technology, and right from all the policies that we put together. We want to create an airline that is warm and efficient, always respectful towards our customers. India needs an airline that creates that environment of always being warm, respectful, and friendly, and create a very delightful experience. We want to run reliable operations. And of course, at the end of the day, when we want Indians to travel, to chase their dreams, we need to run and offer affordable fares to our customers. So that's the promise that we set out. It's about 5.5 months since we started. And we've got a long way to go in terms of the scale up that we're doing, and you'll hear from Praveen in terms of our network planning and strategy. I think a couple of keywords on this slides is we want to bring in, and we will bring in, a lot of empathy and an inclusive culture in our travel experience towards the customers. And that'll be led largely by our teams and our customer-centric philosophy. Of course, technology will play a big role. As a new age startup, technology becomes an inherent part of anything that we do. And that put together will help us to achieve our brand promise. I think it's important for you to just have a glimpse of what are the values that we're trying to inculcate among ourselves internally. And while this is a lot internal, but we expect all of us as employees to bring these values out when we interact with our customers, interact with our partners, and interact with our media partners and everybody. And we've kept our values quite simple. These, we believe, are values that all of us as good human beings need in a day-to-day interaction. And that's what Akasa is also creating as a culture. From collaboration to honesty, to empathy, humility, perseverance, respect, positivity, and sustainability. And if you look at that, these are very simple principles and values that anybody and everybody has in a day-to-day world, and we want to imbibe them as a part of our culture at Akasa. I'll touch upon some of this in the next few slides. You've seen our brand, you've seen a lot of communication and messaging that we've been doing over the last many months, 5.5 months since we started operations, and much more before that as a build-up to our commercial launch. We are creating, and the brand that we're looking forward to present and grow is something that's going to be warm, happy brand, reliable, tech-savvy for sure, an honest brand. We want to maintain our core value of being honest and transparent in anything that we do, whether it's an interaction with our customers, whether it's an interaction with all of you as our partners. We want to create a very youthful, empowering, and an open-minded brand. And that's, I hope that's coming out, and that's what we endeavor to do on a day-to-day basis. So that's our brand personality. If you want to just step back and just visualize how brand Akasa is going to look and is looking at this point. I'll now jump into some things that will be of interest to you. What is a product and service? And if you look at the product and service, our key differentiator is focusing on the whole, what we call the Akasa experience. We are talking about warm, reliable, and efficient. The empathy-driven culture that we're building in will help us to drive this warmth, the efficiency, and reliability that will convert into a very delightful experience to our customers. Our reliable operations, and at the end of the day, we want to create an environment which is humane and inclusive for all customers. And you'll see some of the things that we're trying to do or done in a short span of time that endorses our commitment into the space of creating an inclusive environment. With service as a differentiator, we strongly believe our people are going to lead this more than anything else. And hence our focus on not just picking up good and right talent, but spending a lot of time and effort to do training and make our teams really demonstrate the values that we talked about. We've got a dedicated training academy set up in Delhi. It's a large training academy. Every employee passes out through that, and that's how they become our brand ambassadors with a strong training that we have put together. Our experience on board, this is our aircraft. This is how the look and feel of an aircraft is. It's a fresh and a brand new aircraft, very vibrant and happy cabin. I'm very happy to share that our leg room is extremely gracious, if I may say, ample leg room. Our seats are the most comfortable in this segment, and hence you get a very comfortable and a relaxed travel experience on board. So this is as far as the hard product is concerned. We, as you know, we fly the Boeing Max aircraft, one of the quietest cabin in this space. It almost reduces the noise levels by almost 40%. So it's a quieter cabin with mood lighting to go with the time of day, and that gives a very nice and happy experience. So we try to create a very happy environment on board, not just for our customers but for our employees who fly day to day as cabin crew. Product extends to a very important piece, which is meals on board. We are a buy on board. We have a buy on board service, but we told ourselves that today consumers' food habits and eating habits have changed. How can we adapt to that? And that's where Cafe Akasa came into play. I'm proud to say this is one of the best menu up in the sky, specially curated, working with the best reputed chefs across the country. We offer multi-cuisine and quality meals, very gracious portions, if I may say as well. We are focusing on health options. There's a lot of demand for healthy options. Some plant-based nutritious meals are a part of our menu. We are doing a lot of industry first. You've never heard or seen hot chocolate served on board. You've never seen pasta served on board, and things like Vietnamese rolls. These are some of the hot selling items, but one of the first in the industry in meal menu that you'll see. And then we're doing something very unique, which is every festival in India is celebrated through an exclusive menu that we curate and have as a pre-purchase meal. Right now, Makar Sankranti is a festival that's coming up. There's a meal customers can book. Christmas just passed by. We had a Christmas meal on board, and these meals are really well taken up by our customers, because we see a trend where customers want to experiment. And for us, it's about celebrating Indian culture, Indian festivals across, and food and culture and festivals go together. And that's the spirit of creating festival menus for our onboard food offering that we do. Moving on to how inclusive we can be, and this is one example of we now allow pets to fly on Akasa. That's part of our commitment to create a very inclusive travel experience, and why not? Why can't pets travel in cabin? And we've seen a tremendous amount of response. We can right now carry dogs and domesticated dogs and cats on board. We can carry in the cabin as well as in a cargo hold. It depends on the size and weight that you have, that you want to carry. But we are highly sort of encouraged with the response that we've got with various breeds of cats and dogs. Pet parents are extremely happy. I didn't know that people don't travel because they have to leave pets at home. And I realized after we put this up how much grateful people are that they can now make a trip or even go and visit somebody and carry the pet along. And I think it's a small gesture from our side to create this, but I hope we see more and more, and we are hoping to have more and more such initiatives as we go along. So the service is on. We've got a huge amount of bookings coming through. We're flying pets as we speak on our flights. It's a nice feeling to see this getting bigger and growing, and more importantly, enabling pets to fly in a safe and in a happy environment, and that's what we're focusing on. One of the things I want to mention at a very early stage is none of the initiatives that we do and we talk are done for any visibility. We really believe that we want to do this for a cause, and I'll talk about sustainability. We didn't launch this until we were 100% convinced that we can accept and carry pets seamlessly and safely. And we even have partnered with an NGO because we're not the experts, we know how to manage operations, but how to handle pets. We've taken a partnership with an NGO who's helped us to put all the processes, even helping us how to help parents to plan before they travel with the pets on board. You just can't get a cage overnight, put the pet inside and take it in a cargo or put it in a cabin. you need to get them used to it a couple of days before. So those are the learnings that we're trying to share with pet parents, and so far it's been a pleasant journey with pets flying on us. Extending our inclusive and our empathy-driven culture, you would have seen an announcement that we made recently. We've launched in-flight safety manual in Braille. It's in English and Hindi. Our passengers who are visually impaired can request for one, and it's got all the details which are required to go through from a safety manual point of view. Again, as I said before, we rely on experts to help us and guide us. We worked, and thanks to the Xavier's Resource Center for the visually challenged. You know, Xavier's is a big institution, does a lot of work in this space, and they helped us to put this together, and they continue to help us and guide us in this space as we do more things as we go forward. I want to talk about a little bit on our commitment to sustainability, and environment is a big topic of discussion for everybody, and we genuinely believe that we as an organization can play a small role to do our bit to the environment. And if you see, we've started by making a decision where our aircraft are one of the most greenest aircraft in the sky. In fact, our order of 72 aircraft, every aircraft is going to be exactly the same. Reduced carbon emission. This aircraft reduced carbon emission by almost 20%. It's quieter, as I said, which means noise levels are reduced significantly, and the overall environment sustainability is enhanced with the aircraft that we got. So we will have the youngest and the greenest fleet that we ordered, which we got 14 aircraft as of now. We ordered 72, which will come over a period of time. Sustainability is a core, and one of the things that we genuinely wanted to do was use every opportunity to see how we can add value and play our role in preserving our nature. Our uniforms for our employees, for our crew, for our cabin crew, for our cockpit crew is made out of sustainable material. It's made out of recycled PET bottles. So that's the uniform that you see. Of course, we wanted to focus on having uniforms for our employees which are comfortable, eco-friendly, and of course, you know, a bit of a fun element, and that's what you see with the sneakers that we've developed and designed exclusively, very first in this part of the world. Our crew can now comfortably spend hours on a flight. Our ground staff can move around comfortably using sneakers. We've made these out of special recycled rubber. So again, a small contribution to sustainability and environment, and that's the play in sustainability from an uniforms point of view. Our packaging on board, I talked about Cafe Akasa, which is our in-flight menu. The packaging is made out of 100% recyclable packaging, and the cutlery is biodegradable. We could have done a fancy packaging or fancy branding with colors, but as you know, any color that you put uses chemicals, and that's not good for the environment. So hence we've gone with packaging that looks the way you see it on the screen here. That's in a nutshell, you know, where we started, what are we trying to do, what are our commitment, and what is our brand promise, what's the product at this point. There are a lot of new initiatives on the product and service side, but we just want to make sure the promise that we make and the promise that we made, we are delivering this consistently, and that's a focus on a day-to-day basis, and that's hopefully gives you a feel and a look and a feel, if I may say, of what the Akasa experience and what the Akasa product and service will be whenever you get a chance to fly on any of our flights. I'll hand over the next few slides to my colleague Praveen on our strategy in terms of fleet network and how do we plan to grow. Praveen, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Belson. Good afternoon, Goa. Good afternoon, all of you. It's a pleasure to see the whole room full of people, and we believe that the flights are going to be full of people as well tomorrow when we take off from here. I just have 2 slides. I'll start with the first one, and this is by far the genesis of us as an airline. We have, as of now, placed orders for 72 aircraft. These orders were placed way back in November 2021. We have taken delivery for 14 aircraft. We have another 4 more coming up till the end of March. And by May of 2023, we will have 20 aircraft within our fleet. This is in line with the purpose that Belzin talked about at the beginning of his presentation. We certainly believe that India as a market has got tremendous potential, and the growth trajectory is just getting started. And this industry, as you all know, the civil aviation minister has said this time and again, is actually going to see traffic double in a matter of the next 4 to 5 years. From a 200 odd million passenger carriage, it's going to go up to about 400 by 2027. So that's the growth potential that the industry has. State-of-the-art aircraft, CFM LEAP 18 engines, minimal sound when you sit on board. It's very comfortable seats that we offer on board, and more importantly, I think all of us are now getting concerned about the environment. Carbon emissions play a critical role, so we are at the bare minimum when it comes to India today across airlines because of our brand new airplanes from a carbon emission standpoint. And we launched our operations on the 7th of August. So 156 odd days, close to 160 odd days, and we have already carried more than 850,000 passengers. And we are running at a rate of almost 10,000 plus passengers per day. That goes to show that we might hit 1 million very soon. That brings us to the core of the topic, core of the discussion today. We are happy to launch our operations into Goa tomorrow. I think less than 18 hours to go before we take off on the first flight, which is the 11:50 Goa Bombay. Goa is going to be our 12th destination, and we have announced 13 destinations so far, 13th being Hyderabad, and we commence operations from Hyderabad on the 25th of Jan. But as of now, we start operations with Bangalore, Goa, 2 daily on the 11th. On the 12th, we start with 1 Bombay, Goa. 11th, we start with 1 Bombay, Goa. On the 12th, we move to 1 more additional Bombay, Goa. So that makes it 4 Bombay, Goa. And on the 25th, we start with a double daily Hyderabad, Goa as well. So by far, I must say, in a span of 2 weeks, we have never really had any airport take close to 6 departures. So this is the first of its kind. We are very excited, and we hope you guys are excited too. And like I said, as I see a full, in fact we have overbooking here as well. It looks like we will get more chairs for all of you. Hope the flights out of Mopa also go full from here on. Thank you so much, all of you. With this, we'll play the video first.
Yes.
We'll play the video for you, and then we're open for questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
We can open for question answers if you have. So she will take the mic. Sorry, she will just take the mic around.
Can you tell what is the capacity of plane and what is the safety of passengers?
So we have placed orders for 2 sets of aircraft on the 72. One is the 737-8, which is a 189-seater, and we have an 8-200, which is a 197-seater. Having said that, we talked about this, I guess, about a month back, where we do have 11 aircraft, which are of 174 seats because of the supply chain issue that we faced. And for the time being, you will have 174 and 189 seats on the fleet.
You are here for business, basically. So how it will benefit Goan travelers? Can you explain in brief?
See, the fact remains that there has been a lot of capacity starvation, if I may say so, across India, not just Goa, right? And let me give you some statistics around this. Way back in Feb 2020, we had close to 3,100 odd flights a day for domestic. That came down to about 2,600, 2,700 thereabouts before Akasa took off. Today it's hovering around 2,850 mark, which means there is still a 300 odd flight shortage in the domestic front. Goa is blessed because this is the only, and this is going to be the trademark for the future, is the only place where you have 2 airports that are coming. The other 2 will obviously be Navi Mumbai and Noida. But this is the first of its kind where you have 2 airports within a very short vicinity. And the way I see this is really going to be beneficial for Goa. And let me tell you how it's going to be beneficial based on our example, right? So we opened up for recruitments here in Goa. We have 300 applications in all. And that's a pretty decent number for Goa in a short span of time where we managed to advertise and get these applications. 50 have joined us here in Goa, and 50 are going to join us in the network across India.
From Goa.
From Goa, yes. So to answer your question, the opportunity is huge, not just within Goa, but for the Goa citizens outside of Goa as well.
Job.
Huge opportunity.
Then why only MOPA? Why not
Only MOPA, why consider
Why not Dabolim also?
So we will continue to evaluate options based on what we required. Clearly, MOPA, we have, like I said, 6 flights starting out of MOPA. Dabolim is something which we will continue to evaluate, and based on various discussions that we have, you can see in about 5 months we have announced 13 destinations. And we will continue to evaluate various other destinations, including Dabolim. And at the right time, we will make some announcements.
So, but why Dabolim has not been your first choice? Is it because there has been a new airport, or is it because there have been rumors that you might close them?
I certainly can't comment about that, but I can tell you one thing. Regardless of Dabolim or MOPA, the key is Goa, where the potential is huge. And we should not isolate this into MOPA or Dabolim. The fact remains that the traffic into Goa is going to go up considerably, right? And there has been a constraint for the last couple of years in terms of adding capacity. With MOPA, the options open up, and you will continue to see more carriers coming in. You see us adding 6 flights into Goa. So we don't look at this as MOPA or Dabolim, we look at this as Goa, and that's the key, the way we see it.
Any plan about Rajasthan and JK as well as Sinan sisters back to the
So like I said, the network planner's job is to evaluate routes, evaluate new destinations. We continue doing that, and we have 72 aircraft coming up. We have 6 more aircraft to worry about from a routing standpoint, and at the right time we'll make the right announcement of the new destinations.
Just have a question. What is your projection for footfalls to go up in this calendar year?
Thanks, numbers.
I don't have these statistics offhand, but I can tell you based on the capacity addition into Goa, clearly this market is going to see a trend which is above the average growth rate of India domestic traffic. And it's going to be at least 10 to 15 points more than what India domestic is going to witness.
So, are you already open for bookings in the travel portals like Make My Trip and the other portals?
Yes, we are open for sale on the OTS.
And like, how is the response? Because like the travel time is on from January 11th onwards.
Right, our first flight takes off tomorrow. And we have very good bookings on these departures starting tomorrow. In fact, on the first flight that we inaugurate, we are booked to 100% already. So very strong bookings, and very happy with the response that we have had on the bookings.
There has been debate on this 737 MAX because of 2018-2019 incidents, especially in China and all. So how do you elaborate on the safeties? Because until 2000, 737 MAX were grounded. If you all are aware about it, is it? What are you?
So, if you look at what has transpired, the fact remains that the aircraft did go through its set of challenges. It overcame the challenges, and today there have been close to 1 million flights post the issue getting resolved. So clearly it's one of the safest aircraft. And I must tell you, for us, safety is by far super critical. And my family has taken flights already. I encourage my children to take flights. Pelson does that, the whole airline does that. So the way we see this, it's absolutely safe for anybody to fly.
Sir, you spoke about affordable fares. Now the main this is that when you are operating from Mopal, there are many many passengers have been coming. Their fares are on a higher side, costly. Is it true? Is it true?
Fares are reasonably priced. Our lowest entry level Goa Bombay fare is selling at about 2,500 all inclusive. Goa Bangalore is selling at about 2,600, 2,700 all inclusive. Airline seats are perishable in nature, and my request to all of you around the table would be book in advance, get the best deal. Always do that. Don't come at the last minute for bookings, because it all comes down to demand versus supply. Book in advance, you will get a very good deal, and it will be very affordable.
And I think there's no differentiation in the way we do pricing because it is mobile. If your question was that's absolutely not the rationale that we use.
Pick up and drop service.
No, we don't have.
So we have partners that we have tied up for add-on services. So we have tied up with partners for add-on services. Customers can go online, either take a self-drive, can pre-book a cab or a car. So we have partners and facility to do that, and that's what we're offering to our customers, not just in Goa, but at any other airport that they want to fly.
Mr. Benson, I just wanted to know, you mentioned about the fares, right? Are they going to be like the in-flight passengers price, and the pricing is going to be the same, or it's going to be like different?
So we have a flat rate that we put for a pet in the cabin. It's 4,000 rupees, and irrespective of anything, that's the price. Whether it's a short flight or long flight, that's the price that customers pay.
What is pet, domestic pet is price?
So we go by weight of the pet, which has to be the carriage and the pet totally should weigh 7 kgs to be carried in the cabin. If it's higher, then you can always take in the cargo hold, which we've got our processes to
And if a passenger
secure.
wants to take a dog and it can go both
Together? No, it's not allowed. So right now we allow one pet in the cabin and one pet in the cargo hold. We will enhance it as we go forward. The only reason is we wanted to get it right. We want to make sure that the processes are working fine. But you can't combine 2 pets into one. You know what will happen if you have 2 pets.
Are pregnant pets allowed?
No.
They're not.
So we need to have a certificate, vaccination certificate, and a doctor's certificate for fit to travel, and then only we allow the pet to fly. So they need to fill up an indemnity form and get those certificates before we fly.
All the 6 flights from Mopa are to Bombay, Goa, Bombay, are like for your airline. You're having 6 flights from Mopa, right?
That's
Two
right.
to
So all of
Bombay.
them are Goa, Bombay.
No, 2 to Bombay, 2 to Hyderabad, and 2 to Bangalore.
Do you have any target of passengers for coming here?
Target is to make sure the flight's full. As a commercial guy, that's the only objective. Profitably.
Yeah.
So do you feel that the aircraft designing industry is booming in India?
Okay, there's a question on.
Aircraft designing of aircraft. Do you